Welcome, and thank you for joining us for our second virtual community conversation. Our goal is to stay connected in these times of social distance. Our first virtual meeting was held in November and was one of the most well-attended community events in our history. We thank you for joining the conversation tonight or for returning to the conversation if you were with us in November. A few notes before we begin. This meeting is available in both Spanish and English. If you would like to hear this conversation in Spanish, select Language Preference in the toolbar and then select Spanish. This meeting is also being recorded and will be available on our website, www.mapleton.us. This evening, we'll take a moment for introductions before sharing the second installment of our Promise of Mapleton video series that will ground us in our district's history. From there, we will discuss Mapleton Connects and the purpose of our community conversations before diving into tonight's agenda. Tonight's topics include our continued response to the pandemic, enrollment for the 2021-2022 school year, and school construction updates. And now for some introductions. My name is Tom Moe. I was elected to the Board of Education in 2017 and am honored to serve as the Vice President of Mapleton's Board of Education. I'm an engineer by profession and have spent a good part of my career working with school districts to design facilities that are safe and promote healthy and inspirational learning environments for our students and staff. In electing to run for the school board, I decided this would be a way to utilize my experience and give back to our community, the Mapleton community. And I've been honored to do so. And now I'd like to introduce my fellow board member, Ms. Patty Velasquez.
Thank you, Tom. My name is Patty Velasquez. I am pleased to serve as the Assistant Secretary Treasurer of Mapleton Board of Education. I was appointed to the board in November of 2019, and I am honored to serve this community with this work. As a parent and community member, I care deeply about the future of our kids and strongly believe that we all play a role in helping all kids within our district achieve his or her dreams. I joined the Board of Education because it is an exciting opportunity to make a real change and work towards improving the future of all students. We are also joined by Charlotte Shancho, Superintendent of Mapleton Public Schools, Mike Crawford, our Senior Deputy Superintendent, and Dr. Damon Brown, our Deputy Superintendent of Organizational Systems and Community Engagement. Now, please enjoy the Promise of Mapleton Delivering on a Dream video.
We are Mapleton Public Schools. We are a deeply rooted community of visionaries. In 1903, small truck farms loved and labored by the area's founding families nourished many in the Denver area. Tenacious in their pursuit of excellence, education was and has always been an essential part of our community's story. We are a community of leaders. We are diverse. We innovate. We adapt. We teach. We never stop learning. We are located in the heart of Colorado. Mapleton is where major highways and interstates converge, connecting neighbors and neighborhoods. We are one of the largest employers in unincorporated Adams County, the fastest growing county in Colorado, with schools in Denver, Thornton, and Welby. At 25 square miles, our district boundaries are small, but we, our students, our families, our potential are limitless. We are a system of small schools. We are a system of full choice. And we are a system that believes equity, rigor, relationships, relevance, and unique risks equal success. We learn, grow, nurture, and inspire as a family. We courageously embrace change. When traditional school models stopped inspiring students, we introduced academic options that engaged students in their learning and re-energized a culture of excellence. Through small schools and small class sizes, we foster strong relationships between students, families, and teachers. In Mapleton, you won't slip through the cracks or get lost in the crowd. Students choose their school based on their learning style, interest, and passions. We are building something special here, a place with state-of-the-art facilities focused on getting students thinking beyond the classroom and working together to collaborate, problem solve, and grow. A place where students build everlasting relationships with their teachers, are given countless opportunities, and are encouraged to chase their goals. A college and career-going culture where students know their worth and leave knowing they can do great things in their community, in their country, and their world. A place where they can call home, even after graduation. Our alumni are proud of where they came from and the opportunities Mapleton provided. Look around. Mapleton's roots are everywhere. We celebrate the many graduates who come back to pay it forward as educators and inspire future generations of Mapleton students. Together, we are committed to raising expectations, providing choices for learning, and removing obstacles for students so that we can guarantee that each student achieves his or her dreams. When we work together, we grow together. We are rooted in excellence, we are reaching toward our dreams, and we always have room for more great minds. Join the Mapleton family.
Hello, I am Damon Brown. You were the first to see the rough cut version of our newest video. After we make a few more edits, you should anticipate finding it on our website. Community conversations are a place for celebrating our community and encouraging the ideas and exchange of information from all district stakeholders. Thank you for helping to keep this a forum for healthy, helpful, and hopeful conversations. We invited our community to submit questions prior to tonight's conversation. The response was great. To ensure we can get to your questions, we will not answer questions submitted this evening as we're sharing. However, if you have a question about something you hear tonight or something you're curious about, please submit your question in the Q&A section of Zoom. Answers will be posted soon on the Mapleton Connect's webpage.
As the board, community engagement is always the best way to learn from, listen to, and involve you, our community, in our mission and our work. On our new Zoom world, it makes it very possible for us to make valuable virtual connections so we can continue to build relationships that strengthen our schools and our community. Our community conversations are a part of a bigger initiative we are calling Mapleton Connects. We all play an important role in keeping our community safe, healthy, and strong. We hope to explore those roles together through Mapleton Connects. We like to think of Mapleton Connects as an umbrella term that symbolizes the many ways you can stay engaged and get involved with Mapleton Public Schools. We hope our community will use Mapleton Connects to keep the momentum, so when we are once again able to cheer on the Skyview Wolverines from the stands of the Tierra Stadium, listen to the beautiful sounds of our performing arts group in our new Mapleton Arts Center, or attend a family math night at school, we'll be ready. Mapleton Connect is about staying connected while keeping a safe distance, building a network to support each other along the way, strengthening our community by celebrating the contributions we all can make together to ensure strong schools and a strong community. Learn more about Mapleton Connects online. You can find upcoming events, resources, videos, and more at our Mapleton Connect site.
Good evening. I'm Charlotte Chancho. I'm so proud to serve as the superintendent for Mapleton Public Schools. As we move into our first topic this evening, our continued response to the pandemic, please take a look at the numbers on this slide. Safety is our top priority in all that we do in Mapleton. The most important thing we can do to keep safety top of mind during this pandemic is to monitor the data. This COVID-19 dashboard is maintained by Tri-County Health Department and is available on their website. Data impacts all of our decisions, and we anchor our decisions in what they say about what is happening in our local community. These three charts show the total cases, the incident rates, hospitalizations, and positivity rate for COVID-19 in our community in August, in November, and in early January as we were planning to return to school. In August, our priority was to safely reopen our schools to provide in-person, 5-day-a-week instruction for every student who chose that option. When we had to roll to remote in November, you can see that our numbers were extremely high. As we prepared to reopen our classrooms in January, we had to assure that we would be able to keep our schools and our staff safe. As you can see, the incident rate significantly dropped across our district boundaries since November. Although we are relieved to see our community's numbers declining, our current numbers remain higher than compared to August, and it's clear that the pandemic is still significantly impacting our community. Please keep these data points in mind as we discuss in-person learning and online learning, athletics and extracurricular activities, vaccination prioritization, on-site testing for students and continued testing for staff, and our COVID dashboard.
Hello, I'm Mike Crawford. We currently have 6,663 students enrolled in Mapleton, excluding Colorado Connections Academy. And of those students, 1,760 attend our new program, Mapleton Online. That number has stayed fairly consistent throughout this school year. In November, our families participating in in-person learning were asked to complete a survey sharing whether or not they wanted to change their child's learning platform from in-person at their current school to remote learning at their current school. And more than 80% of our families chose to return to school for in-person learning. A few families at nearly every Mapleton school selected that new online option. And the photo on this slide shows fifth graders at York working with classmates attending remotely. Technology has truly made learning limitless in Mapleton. Using the same data we used to reopen our schools this month, we decided to continue to postpone our athletics, performing arts, and Air Force Junior ROTC programs a little longer, until we're more confident that our students can safely interact across their cohorts and among the schools. And again, with safety as our first priority, to restart our extracurricular activities, we would need to be confident that we could keep students safe, keep schools open for in-person learning, and also allow students from across the district to participate in these commingled activities. Looking at the data, we could not see a way to make all three of those priorities happen simultaneously. Our small schools come together to participate as the Skyview Wolverines from up to 7 schools. And our commitment to stay in person and to keep our cohorts small while we manage this pandemic made Season B an unrealistic option for us right now. We recognize that there are districts across the metro area who are participating in these extracurricular activities. Those districts typically have high school students in a hybrid learning mode and do not have multiple schools participating on the same team. Really, the unique factors that made it possible for us to open in person in August make it impossible to open those extracurriculars right now. This was a very difficult decision for all of us. We value the benefits of these programs and are committed to getting them reopened as soon as the data will allow. Unfortunately, the virus is still in our community and we're just not there yet. We also know that our kids depend on the social network that school provides. We know that extracurricular activities, including our sports programs, performing arts programs, and JROTC, are the single most important part of school for many of our students. And our primary responsibilities start with safety, and then they're closely followed by academic achievement. We're also committed to finding other engaging opportunities for our students to socially connect while staying physically distant. We're hopeful that this brief pause will give way to our ability to participate in Season C activities, allow our students to attend prom, and let our seniors have an in-person graduation ceremony. Please know that we'll continue to monitor the data in order to make decisions as soon as possible.
We can see the light at the end of the tunnel, and we know we'll be back to a more normal very soon. We're excited that the vaccine is here and hope you are all able to get vaccinated by the summer, if not sooner. We're in the very early stages of figuring out if there's a way we can support our community by offering locations to receive the vaccine. So please stay tuned for updates on that. Almost 200 Mapleton staff members who qualify under phases 1A and 1B above the dotted line already have invitations to receive the vaccine from one of several healthcare providers in our community to get the rest of our staff in the queue for February and March. With the vaccine in sight, it might seem like an okay time to relax some of our practices, but in fact, the opposite is true. We must continue to be diligent to keep our community safe. To that end, we're excited to announce that all Mapleton students will have the opportunity to be tested for COVID-19 at their school every 2 weeks. This saliva-based routine testing is made possible by COVID Check Colorado at no cost to Mapleton families. Families should have already received an email with additional information as well as a link to a consent form. Families only need to consent to testing once for their child to have the ability to screen every 2 weeks. If a test should come back positive, families will be notified and put in touch with resources from COVID Check Colorado and Tri-County Health. Please note, while this is a very important addition to the layers of protection that keep our schools open and our students and staff healthy, our schools are not testing sites for children with symptoms. Continue to keep your child home from school if they are sick and contact your trusted health care provider. You can also visit Tri-County Health Department for free testing sites in your area. You and your families are welcome to utilize the COVID Check Colorado sites. More information about this testing option will be sent to families this week. The purpose of Mapleton's COVID-19 dashboard found on the district website is to inform our community about our continued response to the pandemic by sharing reported confirmed cases, active cases, and cohort quarantines. The dashboard reflects information that's been reported to the district from staff and students and is updated daily. Please note that we did not track cases during the full remote learning period.
Now, moving from COVID, because eventually we'll get to move from COVID, it is also enrollment season in Mapleton. For the health and safety of our community, we moved our enrollment events online. Our virtual fairs can be accessed at any time online at www.mapleton.us/virtual enrollment fair. Each virtual presentation features an introduction from the school director, a school tour, as well as other artifacts to provide you with a day in the life of a student at all of our schools. If you have any questions about our schools or would like to schedule a virtual meeting with the school director, each school's website has an Ask Us button where you can submit a form with your questions and contact information. The school director will contact you to arrange a meeting. As the district of choice, we don't have traditional neighborhood schools. This means that instead of being automatically enrolled in the school in your neighborhood, we invite you to choose your school from a full menu of options based on the learning style, interests, and passions of your child. If you live within Mapleton's district's boundaries, we will provide transportation to your school of choice. January is our priority placement window. For the best chance of being placed in your first choice school, please be sure to submit your application for enrollment or complete your annual update if you are selecting a new school for the next year by January 31st. Check out our virtual enrollment fair today and discover, choose, succeed in Mapleton.
Now, I'd like to give you an update regarding the construction projects that you're likely seeing all across our district. We are proud to offer new and returning families beautiful, new, safe learning spaces. Thanks to a community-supported bond in 2016, we've been able to improve school buildings in all corners of the district. We have also received several BEST grants to help us make the most of every single community dollar and build the very best for our students. Throughout the year, construction has stayed a constant in Mapleton as we continue to break ground and build for our future. We'd like to share a few updates on our current construction projects. Formerly the home of Explore Elementary, this repurposed building opened as the Preschool on Pose, or POP. They welcomed our youngest students back this January with minor upgrades inside the building and a brand new playground. The play spaces were specifically designed with toddlers and preschoolers in mind and features swings, slides, an igloo, a playhouse, a climbing wall, and much more. On Tuesday, January 12th, 2021, with shovels in the ground and earth movers on site, Mapleton officially broke ground for the new Valley View Pre-K-8. Valley View opened in 1959 and quickly became a pillar of the neighborhood. After 60 years of serving students, the Valley View building closed at the end of the 2018-2019 school year and was demolished in the spring of 2020. Thanks to community support and a $17 million grant from the state's Building Excellence Schools Today, or BEST program, Mapleton is now in the construction phase of the new View. When collaborating on the new school building, the Neenan Company and Mapleton Public Schools focused on supporting project-based learning, or PBL, a teaching method in which students learn by actively engaging in real-world and personally meaningful projects. The learning spaces soon to be constructed are flexible, unique, and interactive. We are so excited to move into the construction phase of the new Valley View Pre-K-8 building and look forward to welcoming both students and staff in the fall of 2022. We are also inching closer towards the opening of the Mapleton Arts Center, or the MAC on Broadway, located on the Global Campus on Broadway. Inside the building, crews are working on insulation and drywall in preparation for paint and flooring. On the outside of the building, the glass wall to the west and the deep orange and gray tiles are giving this building its flagship appeal. In the 900-seat auditorium, progress to the upper balcony and control room drywall will soon be visible, as well as acoustic finishes throughout the interior spaces. Besides the main auditorium, the building will have dedicated spaces for band, choir, orchestra, dance, and a black box theater. The building is set to open in the fall of 2021 and will serve all Mapleton students and our community.
Monterey Community School will reopen to students in grades K through 8 in August. The word Monterey roughly translates to the King's Mountain, which served as an inspiration for the design of the building. We selected natural-looking finishes and blue and purple tones throughout the building. Monterey received a much-needed gym addition, as well as an updated cafeteria that now has windows looking out toward the Rockies. There were also many site safety and circulation improvements made. Monterey's stunning improvements and important upgrades were made possible by the community support and a $3 million grant from BEST. We're so grateful for our partners in our school construction projects. Moving into 2021, the projects funded with the 2016 bond are now more than 2/3 complete. To reflect the progress we have made, we are introducing a new format for our capital improvement public meetings that will allow us to take a deeper look at each project and explore our next steps as a district and as a community. On-demand construction updates are available online. That's www.mapleton.us. We encourage you to check them out to get up to speed on all the exciting improvements in Mapleton. And as we wrap up the many projects made possible by that 2016 bond, we're now looking at what we're calling the Final Four. These buildings that have received modest upgrades and improvements over the years, and we're exploring our options when it comes to making these buildings safe and functional for generations to come. So these four buildings are Achieve Academy, Meadow Community School, the Preschool on Pose building, and York International School. We're hopeful to engage in a conversation with you again in March about these buildings and what's next for capital improvements in Mapleton.
So much of what we celebrate in Mapleton, from the construction to our academic opportunities, would not be possible without our courageous, tenacious, and visionary Board of Education. January is Board of Education Appreciation Month, and I would like to take a moment to recognize their tireless pursuit for excellence in Mapleton. Mapleton's 5 board members volunteer their time and are the stewards of the district's mission. Thank you for all of our board members, past and present, who have helped the students of Mapleton Public Schools achieve their dreams. Cindy Croissant, Tom Moe, Sheila Montoya, Steve Donnell, and Patty Velasquez, all current Board of Education members. To help you get to know Mapleton's Board of Education, we are sharing board member bio cards on the website and social media throughout this month. We ask them all the good stuff, like What's your favorite food, favorite book, and hobbies? Please check them out. In 2018, the Board of Education asked you to vote on a structure for representation that introduced director districts. Prior to that, you were electing board members at large. The board felt that a more targeted representation would help keep them rooted in what matters. Neighbors supporting and listening to neighbors. This November is a big election year for our board. 2 of our current board members have served 2 terms for 8 consecutive years. Steve Donnell and Sheila Montoya will be term limited and no longer eligible to serve in this role. That opens 2 seats on the board. Additionally, board members Tom Moe and Patty Velasquez are eligible to continue their service to Mapleton Public Schools, and both intend to seek your support again this November. So let's take a look at how these work. On your screen, you'll see the very top north, kind of in a turquoise color, that's District A. It will be open for a 4-year term. That's the area that goes up by the new Explore School. District B is currently the community that Patty represents. Because she was appointed to this seat, it will now be open for a 2-year term. This is the area both around Monterey and Skyview, York, Clayton. That whole area in there. District C, which is probably the Meadow community over there, will be open for a 4-year term. And District E, which is the very large area in the center, is the area that Tom Moe currently serves. And this will be open again for another 4-year term. We received a few questions about the roles and responsibilities of a board member, and we'll answer those in just a moment.
Now it's time to answer your questions. The following questions were submitted to our website over the past couple of weeks. The first question, when will Mapleton reopen band performing arts? We will continue to monitor the data for all extracurricular activities. We're confident that with additional testing and access to the vaccine, we hope to start the other extracurricular programs in the very near future. Another question that came through, how long will free lunches continue? Thanks to an extended waiver from the USDA, we will be serving free meals at all schools to all students through the rest of the school year. After school ends, we will be able to provide free curbside meal pickup through June 30th. We will know more about our plans for our summer food program in the spring. Another question, what are the graduation plans for the upcoming graduation? Our hope is to host a regular graduation ceremony this year, although we were able to celebrate the class of 2020 in a very unique and special way. We really hope to have the class of 2021 in the stadium for our traditional celebration this year.
So this next question has to do with COVID testing. Can parents opt into COVID screening at any time? And the answer is that parents can opt their child in for screening at any time. Mapleton families and friends can participate in the COVID check drive-through screenings at any time. Then someone asks, are staff still eligible to receive free COVID testing? And can the staff be tested at school? Staff will continue to be eligible for the free COVID testing. They can participate in the drive-through option at any time, or they can get tested at the school site during the school rotation schedule. About testing, is there a potential for false positives? Although there continues to be the potential for false positives, that's happening very infrequently. The bigger concern with the saliva tests is false negatives. And then after taking a test, can students still go to school while they're waiting for their results? As long as students haven't been exposed to anyone with COVID and they don't have any symptoms, then they can still attend school while they're waiting for their test results. But anyone with symptoms should stay home.
We also received a few questions about next year, the 21-22 school year. So the first one is, has Mapleton thought about offering some type of in-person summer school courses at the elementary level? We are currently working with our schools to understand How many families are interested in having their child attend in-person summer school classes? Please work with your school director to let them know if you are interested. Then please stay tuned. We should have additional information about those summer school programs at our next community meeting in March. The next question is, what do you anticipate learning will look like in the 21-22 school year? And do you expect the same distancing and cohort protocols? Well, I certainly hope not. We anticipate being able to get back to a more normal school experience next year. We have learned a lot about healthy practices, however, and will likely incorporate some of those practices into our daily routines next year. Someone was wondering why we are going to continue offering Mapleton Online as an option next year. We have had several families request this online option. We anticipate that we'll be serving around 500 students through Mapleton Online next year. So as part of our portfolio of options, this new choice will certainly meet the needs of some of our families.
The next two questions are in regards to the Board of Education. The first question is, what does a board member do? And so each member is a part of a nonpartisan governance structure of the Board of Education. The board is a policymaking entity for the school district. It oversees and manages the district's policies, personnel, and properties. The school board also sets the vision and goals for the school district and holds the district accountable for results. One school board member cannot do the job alone. Effective school board members contribute their unique talents while collaborating and working as a team with other board members and the superintendent. On a practical level, the school board hires and works directly with the superintendent, who in turn hires and works with the staff to put the board's policies into practice. We approve budgets, set spending priorities, approve textbooks and curricular materials, adopt the annual school calendar, make decisions to prioritize facility updates and new school buildings. We meet at least 2 times each month for about 3 to 6 hours each time, once for a study session and once for a business meeting of the board. At our study session, we review the existing policies and practices of the district and learn about the important issues facing the district. The business meeting is where we consider personnel contracts, look at the budget and expenditures, adopt new policies, and conduct all other formal business of the district. The final question is, what are the qualifications to become a board member? If you have a sincere interest in public education in our community, you have sound judgment and even temper, and a willingness to collaborate, you might consider running for our local school board. You will need to be at least 18 years of age, a registered voter, a resident of your specific district when there is an election for that service area, and be eligible under the state constitution to run for office. In Mapleton, the board policy requires that you are not an employee of the district and are not related to anyone else currently serving on the board. If you're interested in serving on the board and would like additional information, you can contact the secretary to the board, Jana Burtner, in the district's office.
That concludes our community conversation for tonight. We want to thank you for joining us and spending part of your evening with us. We'll meet again on March 16th at 6 p.m., where we will share summer programming information and provide updates from Project Lift, our academic improvement initiative, as well as other news and stories from around Mapleton. In the meantime, let's keep the conversation going. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Visit our website to submit your questions and learn more about how to connect in Mapleton. Stay safe, stay healthy, and have a great night. Good night.
Good night.